I'm Cape Joel, and this is Comic Smack, your weekly, daily, all the time, anytime comic show where I give you your fix of everything you need to know from the world of comic books and superheroes. And on today's show, we are taking a closer look at Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man #1, a brand new Spider-Man book from writer Chip Zdarsky. What'll happen next? Well, let's hop on in together and find out, shall we? You know, Stan Lee once famously said every comic book is someone's first, and as such, this comic book opens up with Peter Parker once again regaling everyone with his origin story. Awkward youth, dead parents, radioactive spider, superpowers, great responsibility, you know that old chestnut. And you know who especially knows that old chestnut? Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, basically Peter's best friend. They've taken a break from their super hectic superhero lives to have a little shawarma break on top of a tall building. Pete talks about how good work is going with Parker Industries, and Johnny says, "Man, you changed ever since you got money, but I like you anyway." Peter does admit running a huge multinational company is a lot more stressful than just beating up armed robbers, and sometimes he likes to get back to his roots and do just that. Luckily, this is Marvel's New York, so, you know, you're never more than a couple feet from a violent crime that needs stopping, and as such, Spider-Man swoops on down and protects a woman from getting mugged by two bad dudes. Only he doesn't do it alone, because Scott Lang Ant-Man also stops by for a spell to give Pete a helping hand and to show that, hey, he still totally has friends within the superhero community. Now, the lady they saved is actually quite fascinating. She's a comedian who's moved to New York, and she heard Spider-Man's banter and she quite enjoyed it, so much to the point that she gives him her number. Ooh. That's actually a really smart idea. Of all the love interests that Peter Parker has had over the years, why never a comedian? Also, I don't know about the rest of you, but I was totally reading this lady's dialogue in Aisha Tyler's voice. To thank Ant-Man for helping him out in the fight, Peter decides to give him a ride to his tech guy. Apparently his ant helmet needs some looking at right now because Scott can't regrow to normal size. Apparently this new guy, Professor Mason, has been making some pretty big waves in the New York superhero scene, helping out everyone with their tech and gear problems, even the likes of Tony Stark. Spider-Man feels a little left out of the loop right now, as he had no idea this dude existed. Yeah, Spider-Man's feelings of alienation kind of become a big theme in this issue, and I like it. When we get to Professor Mason's base of operations, we learn a little bit more about this guy. Apparently he has a rather interesting familial connection. His brother is none other than the evil Tinkerer, supervillain arms dealer and one of the original thorns in Spider-Man's spandex side. At first, Peter doesn't like this dude. He feels that he's kind of encroaching on his own nerd territory. Then again, when Mason helps Spider-Man fix his web shooters, get them working optimally, and also mention that he too is inspired by "with great power comes great responsibility," he starts to come around to him. Now, while stopping that mugging, Peter managed to stumble across an Iron Man phone that had been hacked. This is pretty rare because, well, Iron Man tech doesn't get hacked all that often, and as such, he decides to look into this, figuring that it's only the tip of an iceberg. This investigation ends up taking him all the way to Chicago, which, man, Spider-Man in the murder capital of America, alright. The phone seemed to be registered to some sort of high school teacher. Spider-Man attempts to look the dude up at his house, but all he ends up getting is a face full of repulsor blasts from an Iron Man armor. This means his hands are tied, and sadly he won't be able to make it to the movies with his buddy Johnny like he promised he would. The stood-up Human Torch, though, ends up coming face to face with a rather unexpected guest who's come to New York looking for Peter, and that is Teresa Parker, aka Peter Parker's long-lost sister, who you may or may not remember from the Mark Waid penned Family Business story. Yeah, she's back now. That's interesting, didn't see that coming. So, there you go, Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, issue #1, and overall I felt like it was a pretty good breath of fresh air when it comes to in-continuity Spider-Man stories. Zdarsky proves to ultimately be the perfect choice for this book, giving it a light, breezy feel, and also writing Spider-Man some genuinely funny jokes, which seems to be a lost art form. The whole CIA sister thing is pretty interesting too. I know that was an idea they brought up and then just sort of abandoned. Personally, I like the idea of Spider-Man having more family outside just Aunt May. Family and friends were also big themes of this first issue, showing that Spider-Man doesn't work alone all the time, that he still does try and maintain good relationships with everyone else in the Marvel universe, and genuinely that just people get along. Overall, I'd give this one an 8 out of 10, and I can't wait to keep up with this one. I hope it finds its place in between Amazing amazing Miles Morales Spider-Man and renew your vows. So there's your taste of Spider-Man for the week, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you're still watching, why not check out some of these other videos I've worked on for you throughout the week. Then there's my Twitter feed. You can follow me at Cape Joel to keep up to date on everything coming out from the channel. And if you want to pick up that family business book I was talking about, or indeed any other comic book in trade, might I recommend buying them from Book Depository. I have a link down in the description, and when you buy through my link, not only do you get yourself an awesome deal on a trade, but a small percentage of that sale goes to support me in the channel. You get something nice, I get something nice, everybody wins, I tell you. So until next time, this has been Cape Joel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all again in another video. Bye-bye.